Welcome to the Purpose Driven Mom Show, episode 409. And today we're talking all about accountability, why it is such a powerful tool when it comes to sticking with your goals, and how it can really help you take those goals you make in the summer and actually make them a reality. I think a lot of times we think about the summer, right? And we think, oh, well, I'll work on my goals later. I don't need to focus on them right now. The kids need me. I have all these other things going on. But what if instead you created a system that as you go into the summer, supports you and isn't, quote, another thing? Accountability is one of those things that we think about last. We often think, oh, like if I tell my partner, like my husband, my goals, he'll care, or I can just do it on my own. But I will tell you time and time again, I teach a 5-step process in the Purpose Driven Mom Club. This piece of accountability, when implemented correctly, can be such a great motivator. So today I want to talk to you about what it means for you in terms of your goal setting, how you can find accountability, and let you know, listen, the Purpose Driven Mom Club is open right now. Go to purposedrivenmom.com/club where you can come and join us for a summer cohort. And I talked to somebody the other day and they were like, I don't know if the summer's the right time. So let's just call that out right now. If you're thinking, hey, I'm interested in joining the club, but I just have so many other things going on, I don't know if I'll be able to show up this summer. I hear you. But what if you showed up in a way that works for you? We have purpose-driven accountability calls. They happen almost every single day. Your schedule is going to change every single week. You don't have to show up to the same call. You can get on different times around your vacations, around what works for you. You can get on your phone, right? And just listen to the Zoom and check in. One of the reasons the calls are so successful is because they allow people to get re-energized. I just asked in our group today, I said, if you've been attending calls, what's the reason you do? And what's the reason you don't? And the biggest thing we heard from don't is like, it just doesn't work in their schedule, which is totally fine. That's why we have our Facebook group and our accountability group. But people that said they showed up, we got a couple things. One is like, I show up every week. And the one is like, I've showed up occasionally, but every single time I do, I leave feeling better. Now, this is one of the reasons accountability helps and matters, is because when you have this support system in place, it's not just you. I have a business coach. I have a health coach. I have a life coach that I work with. I cannot do it on my own because I'm the one who always holds everybody else responsible. I'm always the one that needs to be the one holding people accountable. I mean, heck, it's my job, right? If I don't have somebody else to check in with, if I don't have a person I can go to and say, this is the goal I'm working on, this is where I'm struggling, it's going to be very easy for me to not work on my goals. And I know that it can feel the same for you. So again, purposedrivenmom.com/club, or you can go to the show notes, just, scroll down if you're on YouTube at purposedrivenmom.com/podcast 409. But let's talk about how accountability helps your motivation. A lot of times we feel like we're just supposed to be motivated, right? Like I'm supposed to be motivated. I'm supposed to do all these things, but isn't it hard? Can it be challenging to motivate yourself? What if it wasn't just you? What if you didn't have to be the one every day to wake up with all that energy, but you had a place to lean? We're not going to be motivated all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. I think we think that there's something wrong with that, but there isn't. There's nothing wrong with waking up and being like, I just feel blah today. I had therapy last week and I said that to her. I said, I don't really have much to talk about, but I'm feeling meh this week and I can't really explain it. And part of it was I was feeling unmotivated. But what I did was I made a plan and I checked in with my accountability system, which is like my therapist and my health coach and my life coach. And I said, this is how I'm feeling. And they were able to help me defunk, if you will. When you're feeling unmotivated, if you have a support system to lean on, you are more likely to continue to show up. And it's summer. Schedules change every single week. You might not have the people you normally see. I know, like when I walk my kids to school, so I see the same parents at pickup, drop off. I see the same parents in all the activities we're in. In the summer, things are different. So I don't have my friend group around. I don't have the circle of people I check in with and talk to about things. It's going to be really helpful for you this summer to have that. And a lot of times I think we want it to look in real life, right? Like I mentioned, I have some friends I check in with. Some of my friends are not good for my goals. I'm just going to say it. I have been trying to drink less, right? So my friends who are like, hey, it's noon and it's nice out, let's have, pop a seltzer and like sit by your pool, are not going to be the best ones for my goals. Okay. And I still love them and I still want to hang out with them. But this is why I have a secondary layer of accountability. This is why I have a health coach that I can message and be like, hey, listen, this is what's happening. Tomorrow at noon, friends are coming over to sit by the pool. I know they're going to want to drink. Can we come up with a plan around it so that I'm not tempted to do that as well? Just because the people in your real life aren't your ideal accountability or support system, does not mean they're bad people. It does not mean they hate your goals. It just means they're just not the right people for those specific goals. If you come in the summer and you're like, let me join the club, or let me find, again, we'll talk about how to find this accountability, but I'm going to use the club as an example because right now doors are open till Thursday, and we really will be there for you. Let's find people who are going to hold you accountable. One of the reasons the accountability system in the club works is because we're objective. I'm not judging your success. I'm not judging your showing up. I'm very black and white. You said you were going to drink 5 glasses of water 4 days last week. How did that go? Takes the feeling and the emotion out. You need an accountability buddy or a person or a small group, or if you go to a workout class or a crafting group, things like that. You need people who are going after the same goal. And you also need people who are going to motivate you along the way on the days you don't feel motivated. You also want to find accountability this summer with people who are going to real talk you. Okay. I also have people who I will tell my goal to, I'm trying to lose some weight this year, right? And I will tell them my goal and they know my goal. And you want to make sure that those people will hold you accountable. I'll tell you this funny story. We went to the boardwalk a couple weeks ago, and I'm trying to stay on my macros. I'm trying to eat a little cleaner. I knew I wanted to have ice cream because that orange vanilla twist at the Jersey Shore, Core Brothers, if you know, right? Like I was like, that is what I want for my treat. Okay. But I know I'm going to be tempted with French fries and pizza and all that kind of stuff. So I said to my friends, permission granted. If you see me like eating up, gobbling up things, right, that wasn't the ice cream, remind me of my goal. Or what I said was slap the pizza out my hand, right? My friend said, you're not going to get mad? I said, no, I really want this accountability because I want to have the ice cream, but I can't really fit in the ice cream and the pizza. You want people who are going to actually hold you accountable. Now, there's some other types of accountability that I think will really help you. This is the hardest, and it's called self-accountability. Isn't it a challenge to show up for yourself? But I want you this summer to ask yourself, how do I want to show up with integrity? This week, I've been doing some accountability challenges on my Instagram, Come Hang, a Purpose-Driven Mom, with my time blocking printable. And it's been self-accountability. And I feel amazing because I said I was going to show up for myself in these ways. Example, I said I was going to record 2 podcast episodes today. I didn't want to. I just got finished watching a television show while I did a little bit of work. And I was like, oh, I have therapy in a half hour. I really don't feel like sitting. I could just scroll my phone. But instead I said, nope, I'm going to take 15, 20 minutes and I'm going to talk about accountability to get myself accountable. And it was something I said I was going to do. And I feel great. I feel great because I said I was going to show up for myself. One of the things that happens when you start to show up for yourself is you start to change your belief systems around, now I'm a person who, right? Maybe you were someone who struggled to show up for your goals. A couple weeks ago, I just ran a 10-mile race. That was like a huge goal that I made for myself in December when I started training. If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, I've been training a Couch to 5K that turned into 10 miles that I ran or whatever. And I'm still at this moment contemplating if I want to do the half marathon in September. It was so hard. My body isn't as sore today as I thought it was going to be. It was just a couple days ago, but it was really challenging. So I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but I told myself I was going to do it. And I showed up for myself. And what I actually did was I rewrote this narrative that I'm a person who quits. My brain was saying, you're a person who quits. You never show up for yourself. You don't take time for your own goals. You have failed at running so many times, because I have started, stopped, right? When I did that race, that mile 9, I was in tears. And all I did was talk to myself. Cara, I'm so proud of you. Cara, I can't believe you showed up today. Look at you getting out here. Even though it's imperfect, even though it wasn't like the way I wanted it to look, and I took a lot of walk breaks and all those things I didn't want to do, you still showed up. That self-accountability, what that has done is given me a confidence that I can achieve other goals. So no matter what type of accountability you get this summer, can I encourage you to lean into self-accountability? Set some goals for yourself for the summer. My goals in the summer are very light. I'm not doing crazy stuff. My schedule is busy. Every single week is different in the summer. Every day looks just a smidge different. So I don't set super push hard goals. And I just taught all this last week at last week in the future real time. This is what happens when you record podcast episodes in advance. It's like I'm recording this and it's May, but my challenges already happened when it aired. But as of the airing of this, last week I taught my simple summer schedule challenge. And what this really did was allow me to remember that every week is not going to be the same and every day is not going to be the same. So I don't want a ton of super hard goals in the summer, but I have a few. I don't want to just sit in the summer and do nothing. I want to end the summer feeling aligned. That's always my favorite word, right? Not balanced, but aligned. I want to end the summer feeling like I showed up for a couple goals that I made for myself. So whatever goals you have, I just want to encourage you to try to be your biggest cheerleader. You need to look yourself in the face, in the mirror. There's a really good book. It's called Mirror Work by Louise Hay. Maybe I'll make that one of my summer goals, is to like reread this book, because I really like it. And it allows you to look at yourself in the mirror and say like, and rewrite stories. Say things like, you can do this, right? I believe in you. You are loved. You are wonderful. And in self-accountability, when you show up for yourself, what this really does is it reinforces that you're a person who can do this. And when you start to have integrity with yourself, keeping the appointments we made, which as moms, it's so hard to do. Everybody needs me. I'm juggling to camps. I have all these things on my plate, but showing up for myself, it just boosts my confidence. So this summer, no matter what, layer one of accountability is self-accountability, but it's the hardest because we're not always motivated. We don't always want to do things. We want to, scroll phones and watch TV shows, or maybe that's just me, right? Like I want to read my book and things like that. I want to encourage you instead to go ahead and pick something and stick with it and pretend you're somebody else. Now, accountability buddies, that's probably like layer two, like one individual person that's helping me on one individual goal. So if you have a goal this summer, maybe it's a movement goal, we'll talk walking, right? Maybe you're like, I want to walk. All right, you're going to find a buddy that either wants to walk with you or wants to maybe text you when you walk. Maybe you're like, I want to start my podcast this summer. I have extra time. My kids are at camp or we're home, or maybe you're a teacher, you have your summer off. So you're like, I have time. I want to start this podcast. Find a person who also wants to start a podcast, and then y'all can be podcast buddies. Having a one-on-one accountability buddy, I really, really like. This is my layer two of accountability. The only thing I don't love is that I often find that I'm the person who is leading the charge here. I'm the one who's like running the ship. I'm always the one checking in or texting someone. And that's just exhausting. In a one-to-one buddy system, you want to make sure you're equally yoked. You want to make sure that you're both running the race together. Not one person is the one who's always texting and trying to figure it out. Hey, how are you doing? Hey, how are you doing? That's exhausting. I don't want to do that. I want someone where sometimes it's me, sometimes it's them. I like one-on-one buddies though, if you're looking for accountability this summer, that's like on one specific goal and they're doing a thing. That's always the thing. It's in my 5-step process, but club members show up to coaching and they're asking about, I have this goal that I want to do. I will always say to them, I just did this yesterday. We were talking about a decluttering goal. And then someone else had a yoga goal. And I said, post in the group. I want you to post in the Facebook group. We have 200 members, and say, this is a goal I have this summer. I'm looking for one buddy to be my source of accountability. Now, this person I talked to yesterday, they show up for calls each week in the group setting. But I was like, I want you to have something more, because once a week calls are great, but a lot of times we need more frequent gamification. We need more frequent check-ins. We need more frequent accountability. So I recommend one-to-ones, right? So layer two here is that one-to-one accountability buddy. This is for daily accountability, okay? This is like medium hard because you can't always get the right buddy for you, but you can find someone that will help you with a specific goal. And I like this to have these one-to-one people, if possible, be in real life for me. I'm walking. I have a friend that we are like our step buddies. It's great because I'll be like, hey, can I come over? And we can just go like walk a couple laps. I need a little bit of a boost, right? We're making plans to go hiking this summer, things like that. Now, tier three, when it comes to accountability, this is going to be the group setting. I love a good group setting because you're not relying on one person to be your buddy for when/if it falls apart, because it might. The other thing I like about groups, they could be led, like the Purpose Driven Mom Club, led by me and my team of coaches, or they could be like mastermind style. So the Mompreneur Roadmap, that is my other course, self-paced course on helping you start a business, right? And that group we ran as a coaching, and they turned into a mastermind. They all meet with each other still. They're in a great group where they check in. And I love that. Showing up to a group setting is great because you can find your people within the group. I have a business coach. And so inside the group, I see the people who are like doing similar things. I see the people that are on a similar level, and I can vibe with them. It kind of gives me more probability of finding the right person. And also in a group setting, like you don't have to be the one in charge, which I like. I will say this, I am always like in a group project, the one who wants to take the lead. I'm first to raise my hand on things. So I do want to encourage you though, if you find yourself always being that person, to step back, to allow someone else to lead, because it's exhausting. There's a really good book. It's called The Life Council. I think it's 10 friends every woman needs. And in it, they talk about this concept of the yes friend. The yes friend is the person who, like, I need a restaurant recommendation. I need a sport. This is my, like, someone like wants a kid sign their kids up for some sort of sport. I immediately will get a text like, hey, who does soccer? Who does this? Like, where's the best one? I'm the yes friend in a lot of my groups, and it's tiring. I love doing it. I don't mind making the plans, but sometimes I'm just exhausted. I don't want to be the yes friend. So if you find that in accountability groups or one-on-one situations, you're always the one doing it, I do want to encourage you to back up a step, right? To just say, it's okay if it's not me. It's okay if I'm not the one doing it, and going ahead and kind of allowing other people to lead as well. It will help hold you accountable just being in that environment. So how can you get your accountability this summer? One, I'm just going to give you a tip right now, because this is something we were talking about in the group about, like, hey, I joined this program. It has these group calls. I don't get on them. It's not worth my money, right? That's something we hear about the club. Like, is it going to be worth it if I don't get the accountability? Well, one, yes, you're going to get this entire course and system that you can go through to help you. But the accountability really is a needle mover for a lot of our members. Here's what I do when I can't get on accountability calls or coaching calls or teaching calls or webinars or whatever it is. I try to make it a non-negotiable for myself. That's like first. I really want to do it at this time. I run 2 calls a week, Fridays and Tuesdays at 1 p.m. I put it in my schedule. I make it an appointment for myself. The coaching group I'm in for business is Tuesdays, 11 to 2. I try, or 11 to 1, I'm sorry. So I try really hard to not schedule anything around that. That is my time with Fidelity I keep, but it doesn't always happen. For example, yesterday I had to take my daughter to the orthodontist, right? Her appointment happened to overlap in that. Sometimes you just can't help it. So what I do if I can't get on those calls is I always go back and listen. And this is one of the reasons we record the calls in the Purpose Driven Mom Club. It is because we know that there's power in hearing other people be coached, and we also can't always get on. So I always go back and watch, even if I couldn't get coaching. Being around and hearing other people's goals, hearing what people in the accountability group are doing reminds me of my goals. It gets me excited again. It gets me kind of thinking this is something that I want to do, right? So that is really important. The other thing I would recommend is not only like saying, hey, this is when I'm going to go through it, this is when I'm going to do it, but having a time to check in if there's a social community group. So I'm in a couple groups that have a Slack, a Facebook group, etc. I have one time a week where I batch going through all the programs I'm in or the courses or whatever. Like, a lot of courses have groups where I check the groups, and I only do it once a week, but I always go in there because I find that talking about my goal, for example, I bought a gardening course last year. Okay. I don't always, last year when I was went through the course live, I went to each of the monthly office hours calls. Now that I'm not going through the course live, I don't get on every single one, but I make it a point at least once a month during gardening season, which is now, that I go in and I just scroll through the Facebook group for 15 minutes and I just see what people are asking. It keeps me going. Even though I'm not actually checking in with anyone about my gardening, I'm getting in the gardening mindset. I want you to create a structured accountability plan for yourself this summer. Make sure you have regular check-ins, that you've made milestones, that you make goals. The other thing I need you to make sure you do, though, is that, again, that equally yoked. I've been in many groups with my business where my business goes this way and their business goes this way, or they quit, or whatever it looks like. Sometimes those groups will pull you down. And if you find that you're spending time with people where, like, maybe you're up here a level and they're there, or vice versa, it's not best for you. It's okay to have an accountability buddy and say, you know what, this has really served me. I'm really happy. I wouldn't say this has really served me. This has really served me. I wouldn't say that in real conversation, but in my brain, like, it served me, right? Like, it served its purpose. In real conversation, I would say more along the lines of, like, hey, I really enjoyed being a buddy, to keep each other accountable for this goal. I'm gonna be working on like a different goal moving into the summer. So I'm probably not going to check in about this goal anymore. But thank you so much for, like, being my buddy. It was really fun. You don't have to be buddies with somebody forever. And I think a lot of times not having the appropriately yoked, that's my phrase of the episode, but not having the appropriately yoked buddy can bring you down because you're not being pushed, because you're not being challenged. It's important to be around a variety of people. And listen, I get it. It's scary. You're like, I would love some accountability, but I'm afraid. This is the other thing we hear. I want to join the club, but I'm afraid because you're going to ask me if I did something that you asked, that I said I was going to do, and I didn't do it. What if I don't show up for the goal? That's okay. It's a reminder. Really, what the accountability calls are, is a reminder of what you said. I'll go through my notes from the whole month and be like, hey, remember at the beginning of the month you said this. Oh yeah, I forgot I said this, right? It's not about you show up and you're like, I suck because I didn't do the thing. It's okay. maybe I didn't succeed this week, but I'm going to keep going. That lack of follow through can be scary, but don't let it hold you back from getting the support and the accountability that you need. All right. Give yourself some love, some self compassion, right? And just know that if you keep showing up for yourself and you're trying to do it on your own and it's not working, you need that external accountability. So I'm going to invite you to join the Purpose Driven Mom Club. Doors are open until today's the 3rd. So until the 6th, you can join our summer cohort. We won't be opening up again until the end of summer. If you really need that accountability to work on your goals over the summer, you have extra time maybe this summer and you're like, hey, I want to bang through the course, whatever it is for you, go to purposedrivenmom.com/club. Come and join us. We would love to have you. And I hope to see you on a call and getting some supports. And if not, have a great summer. We'll be having podcast episodes that come up once a week anyway. So we will be here as your source of inspiration, some motivation, but you can go to purposedrivenmom.com/club and you can join us now.